Afternoon with iGyro. I've asked Tim to just run through the mechanisms, the integration we have with Bureau of Meteorology. That's added a lot of value to builders that know how to use it. So it's important that all our users are familiar with it and can use what is a fairly simple but very effective integration. So I'll hand over to Tim and he can run us through that now. Thanks, Tim.
No worries. I'll just share my screen here. Alrighty, we see the gyro screen there at the moment.
You can see that. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I'll start with the mail merge documents and how they work. So the idea behind a mail merge is that you'd pull details in from a database. So we'll create standard letters and things, and you can automatically drag in data from the database into a document that you can then forward onto a client or print. So just about all of the data that's on these gyro tabs is available to a mail merge. So the contractual name, the contract price, addresses for clients as well as the job.
Right.
So yeah, that can help a few ways. One, that it just speeds up the way that you can create these documents, but also reduces errors when you're typing them in. So they're already in the database, have already been checked, and you might have 10 or 15 different letters that go out to a client over time. And the spelling and everything will be right 100% of the time if you follow these mail merges. So the way we generate one of those is you'd pick a job from your job list. And from the top here, we've got a mail merge menu. And if you've got a lot of mail merge documents here, you can easily search for them with this filter section here as well. So if I type the word letter in here, it's filtered to all these merge documents that have got the word letter in their name. And we've got a series of standard letters that we use. So 1 through 9, they're the most commonly used letters that most businesses will need. So if I just generate one of those, we can see what a mail merge actually does. So I click on that one and I'll click on Run Merge. All right, so that's just generated a Word document. And while it's generating, I've just had an update to Word, and for some reason it's behaving a little bit slowly at the moment. So we'll just work through that. But while this is coming to life here, we can see that there's some merge fields in the background. So all these funny little arrows, you've got the left and right arrows there. They're merge fields that will pull data from Gyro into this document.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this is the generated document, and it's generated in print view here. And what it's done here is it's a standard letter. So depending on which client you've picked in the Gyro database, it will merge the correct details in. So this one's got the client details. It's got the client's address there, the site address. But throughout the document, various things are referenced here. So this is the business name. And again, there's the client details, the site address. But you'll see if you've got a lengthy document that it can very quickly go through and add the client's name everywhere that you need it throughout the whole document.
So none of this has been previously typed in, it's just been pulled in from the database.
That's right. So essentially you set up a template, and all those special characters that we saw before with the left and right arrows tell it how to create the template, and the template pulls the data in. So even this section here, that was part of the template. So it's referencing the type of design for this client. So we go back to the Gyro screen here. We'll see that this design is a custom design, but it very well could have been a standard design, like a presence type design.
Yeah.
All right, and that would be automatically populated in here with no need for you to jump in and remember what it was and type it in yourself. All right, so down the bottom too, it's actually referenced the sales consultant. So the sales consultant for this job is pulled in for this particular letter. And at the bottom in the footer, you'll also see that the business name, your business name, will have its details populated here too. So you have ABN number, builder's license number. All right, there's a reference to the client job number there as well. I'll just close that one down.
Good. So Tim, the top 9 merges that we see there when we select merge documents are the most commonly used merges.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so they're our most commonly used merges and the ones that we recommend that you would send throughout the life cycle of a job. If I just have a quick look at this one. So that was that one had a nice cover letter because it's a client-facing letter to do with the sales process. If we look at this prelim services fee paid, I'll just run that one briefly. So this one's more of a transactional type letter just to let someone know that they've made their prelim services fee and that things will progress from there. Just give that a moment to generate. All right, so this one's more of a simple one-pager here. And it's pulled all the details in. So you got your client details, your site address there, and your client reference or job number. And client details, address details. So this one looks like it's using the accounts manager. So whoever generates this, it's actually, it's got the accounts manager's details should be at the bottom of this letter. So that hasn't been pulled in. So I'll quickly show you where that comes from. So we shoot back to Gyro, and in the tools menu, there's a group edit option. These are just some defaults for your database. And you'll see here there's some group contacts. So a lot of letters reference these. So you might have a letter from the managing director or a letter from an administration person or a client relations person. So everyone in your business that has a user account will be available in this drop down. So you might have a list of 20 names here if your business is that large. So we filled out that person there as the accounts manager. Next time we generate that letter, it would have this Tim demo details in the letter.
Very good.
Alrighty, so that's how we generate the letter. I'll quickly just shoot over to this tasks tab. So we haven't touched on this, and this tasks tab is sort of at the heart of iGyro and how we keep track of where a job is and how it's progressing through its life cycle. So it's out of the scope today of what we'll talk about, but as you progress through and you fill out your tasks along the way, each one of these can be used in a mail merge as well. So you might have a need to explain to someone the date for a contract sent. You might want to put that in a letter to say the contract sent occurred on the 23rd of the 8th, 2019. But as you're progressing through these tasks, we've got a few little reminders here as well to let you know when you should send those standard letters. So once you fill out that 5% deposit paid, we've got this little reminder in the comments here that says you should send out the letter 4, which is a mail merge document, to the client.
Yeah, very good, which references a number in the mail merge list.
It does. So you could just type in 004 into that merge document if you wanted to, and that should show up that exact letter to generate. All right, so that's how you generate letters. But we might take a step back now and work on how to actually create one of these letters, how to create a template. So if we go back to the home screen now, and a mail merge is really a type of report. So it lives in this report section here. I'll just make sure we choose mail merge from the list. Now these are all our letters that are already, that we have access to, and all the standard ones are here that we referenced before. But what you'll notice on these, if you select one of those, you'll see that you can't save or delete these. And that's because you don't own these reports. These are standard ones that we have available to the business. Excuse me.
So they're owned by the database.
Yeah, yep, that's right. So They're generic ones that we make available to everyone. Now, if you wanted to edit one of those or start from your own or create your own from scratch, you can. And what I find is easiest to do is actually find a letter that looks similar to what you'd like to present yours in later and just duplicate that. So you can start from a point, like prelim services fee letter that we saw before. We could duplicate that and use that as a starting point to create our letter.
Yeah, right.
So if I right click that and I'll hit duplicate. So that's added a new one here for us, and it's put the word copy on the end. So we could relabel that to anything we like. And it's created a template for us, so that lives in your Gyro stationery folder on your computer. You don't really need to know where that is, and Gyro sort of takes care of that for you. And I'll come back to this little cloud icon here in a moment. Now, as you progress down, you've got the report field. So all of these fields that you can see here listed will be available to the mail merge document. So you can insert the special characters into the merge document as a merge field, and that will tell the document how to pull the data from Gyro. So in this case, we want to add, say, the project manager to a document. So you can scroll down that list, or if you type very quickly, you can locate items. So I've just typed the word PROJ in, and I found project manager. And all the tasks that we saw on the task list are available as well. So if I scroll down to task, oops, I might want to add the task first meeting in. All right, so I've just added 2 more fields that'll be available to this mail merge document. And you'll notice here that we've also got the save option now. So we own this document, we've created it. So we'll click on the save button. Already now, to actually make changes to the document, we've got the edit mail merge button at the top. All right, so that will open up in Word, and we'll get an opportunity in just a moment to start editing that document.
So Tim, the actual Bureau of Meteorology integration, that's already in the databases? Is it the mail merge that supports that integration?
That's just a standard letter that we can draw on.
Yeah.
So that's in there. So that will make use of this mail merge feature. So we've got our Bureau of Meteorology integration, and you'll make use of that through these mail merge features.
Yes, good.
Alrighty, so here's the letter. Now, you may want to change this view. This is just a standard Word feature. Change the view to a print layout. You'll sort of get a better idea of what it's going to look like once it's printed. So here we can make any amendments that we'd like to. So we might just want to relabel this document. So at the bottom, so you'll probably notice that this is wrapped over to the next page now, but just be careful if you think that's wrapped in the wrong spot, because you'll find that all of these merge fields at the top here will actually print a little bit smaller when they merge out. So that shouldn't be an issue there. So we'll leave it like that. Now, if we want to change this, we'll say it's no longer from the accounts manager. We'll say it's from the project manager. You can delete that merge field. And to insert a new one, there's this mailings ribbon at the top here. And there's an insert merge field option. So all of these fields here are what we specified back in Gyro. So if we shoot back to Gyro, it's all of these fields here. And our 2 new ones that we added were project manager and first meeting. All of those are available in this menu here. So there's the project manager. So we'll click on that. And this code here will merge in the project manager details, or their first and last name. All right. So we might just remove some text, and for whatever reason, you might want to say your first meeting was on, and if we want to insert that new date, that will merge in the first meeting date. All right. So once you've edited those, any changes that you need to make, you just hit the Save button at the top, and you can close the document. All right. So Gyro is sort of partly working in the cloud and partly working on your local machine. So this document that you've edited is local on your own computer. And to make it available to anyone else in your business, you'd need to upload it to the cloud so that everyone else can download it. And that's what this button here is all about. So when you log into Gyro for the first time, or whenever there's a new document, it will prompt you and say there's new stationery available for download. And anyone in your business will get that prompt. They'll download all the new stationery, and they can then run these mail merges. So to add one of those, you simply click that cloud button. It will upload the file to the Gyro cloud.
Nice.
The cloud button's gone and is now available to everyone.
Very good.
All right, so we shoot back to our jobs again now. What we'll find is we've got a new group here now under our own company name, and this is the new modified letter that we created. All right, so we'll click on that. I'll run that merge. And this is all our changes that we've made here. The project manager at the bottom. All right, so a similar process will take place once you've already uploaded that and you want to edit it now. You won't need to duplicate it again, but you can go back in to the report section and edit that directly. So there's our document. It's got the date and time there that the first meeting occurred, and our project manager details at the bottom. All right, so if we did want to edit that again, what will happen is we'll come back to the report section and we can edit this one directly. Just be a moment. All right, so we want to delete a bunch of text out of there or make any other changes we can. And we'll save that. And what we'll find then, if we reload that report, it will actually show us that the version of this document that we've got local on our machine is different to Gyro Cloud. It will prompt you that it is required to be uploaded for everyone else.
Yep.
So in that instance, you just click the cloud button again, it will re-upload, and everyone's back in sync.
Very good.
All right, so if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer those about the mail merges. If not, we can go on to talk about the bureau integration a bit more. Anyone? That's fine. There's no questions at the moment, so I'll carry on. So the weather bureau integration that you're talking about before, Glenn, was it is a useful feature. You'll find in our HIA contracts. I've got one here. they've got this delays and extensions of time.
Mm.
And one of those is an adverse weather clause here. So we can claim extensions of time for a job to avoid liquidated damages by claiming adverse weather.
Mm.
And I guess a problem that we've seen is that it's very difficult to work out on a job site by job site basis whether it has rained or not. You'd have to attend site every day and work out whether it's rained. So the solution that we've come up with is accessing or integrating with the Bureau of Meteorology, and we'll track the weather that occurs in various weather locations. And if it's rained more than 5 mils in a given day, we'll class that as an adverse weather day, and we can claim that day as an extension of time on our contract.
Mm. This 5 millimeters, Tim, that's something that we've determined is representative of what might prevent site access, would prevent trade access, prevent materials deliveries. And over the years, our clients have on the whole, accepted that as a fair position. So this 5 millimeter rule, it's not nominated in these HIA contracts, but has been tested in our business over many years and seemed to be a fair outcome by clients.
Yep, that's good. So you may have job sites that are fairly far apart, and you can have each job site at a different locality or a different weather station. So on your job details, you'll see this locality drop-down box. So these are all the weather stations that are available to us. You can add more by request.
Request to yourself, Tim?
Yeah, that's right. Just drop me an email and I can add that. So we can also look at the Bureau website to determine if there's a more appropriate weather station to use. And if we don't have it, we can easily add that.
Yeah, great.
So I guess in saying that, you can look up, you'll probably find there's only a handful of weather stations. You might have 3 or 4 in your territories that you'd use. So you'd become very familiar with those pretty quickly. But what you can do on the Bureau site, there's a page here for the climate data, and you can search for a location. So we wanted to look up this Terra Nora suburb, and click find there. It's found that Terra Nora suburb for us. If we click that, it'll give us a list of the weather stations that are closest to that location.
Mm.
So we've got Murwillumbah, which we have selected there in the locality, which is 15 k's away, but that Coolangatta one's actually a bit closer. So if we wanted to, we could see we've got Coolangatta in this list, which is there. So we could pick that Coolangatta location instead of Murwillumbah if we prefer.
Yep.
Alrighty, so once you've picked that, over time, as a job progresses, you will notice over here in the job summary, there's a section that talks about the days on hold, additional days on hold. So if we click this little button here, it'll give us a bit more information. And actually, if I take a step back there, we've also got a contract period. So we note down here how many working days are in our contract. In this case, we've got 160. And based on our contract start times, we can calculate what the estimated completion date is. And that estimated completion date will change over time based on this adverse weather that happens throughout the job. So we'll also find public holidays that are happening between the start and finish of a job as well. So here's a breakdown of that for this job, which is part way through. It's worked out that there'll be 4 public holidays until completion, and 3 of those have already passed.
Mm.
So 3 of those days have been added on to come up with the estimated completion date. Oh, sorry, 4 of those days have. Adverse weather will always be the same number here. So 10 days of 10 adverse weather, because you can't preempt adverse weather in the future. So as a rain day happens, it'll just increment that number, and the estimated completion date will also get higher.
Tim, I think we can safely say that every Easter holidays is adverse weather. Is that fair to say?
Yes, we should build that straight in, I'd say. The Easter show always gets wiped out.
Yes. All
right, so that's all just happening automatically, and all you have to do is select that locality. So all of your jobs could have a different weather station and will all be calculated independently. Now, to run this adverse weather, and what you really do need to do is actually send a letter to your clients. So that's part of the contract as well. You need to notify your clients that you're extending this contract period. So back from the home screen, if we go to reports and mail merge, so you can run mail merges from this location as well. So we look up adverse weather. This really should be one of our standard letters, actually.
Very true.
Now, what you'd generally do is you'd specify a date and you'd run it for a particular date. So maybe like the start of August, first few days in August, you might run an adverse weather for June. Oh, sorry, first few days of July. So if we run that, what you'd end up with is a document that would look like this. And this is for all jobs in the system. So any job that's on site and has had some form of adverse weather in that period, so in the June 2019 period, will have a letter available to them. So each one of these is a different job. And it will tell you how many adverse weather days for that particular job. So this one's got 6 here and the others seems to have 4.
Yeah, very good.
Actually, what you're speaking about before there, Glenn, you're talking about the reasons why 5 mil is appropriate. So this has a bit of a note here explaining how that works as well. So even if work hasn't started on your site, the adverse weather could still affect the ability for us to start a job, presumably because the trades are tied up on other jobs and they've been delayed and they'd have other work to attend to as well.
Exactly right. So it has that snowball effect. If you have a week of rain or a day of rain, it impacts even uncommenced work.
Exactly, yes. All right, so that's the mail merge document. So you do that once a month, generate your letters and send those out to each of your clients. Probably the last thing we have for that bureau integration is an Excel report. So if you wanted a bit more detail on a particular job, we could come into here and just check these dates on this report. So this is quite a large set of dates. I'll just type that job number in, which was 160047. We'll generate that. All right, so that's given us a breakdown then of each month and how many adverse weather days were on that job. So if you wanted to know across all of your jobs, you could also just not specify a job number. So we just deleted that row there. We'll generate the report. All right, so this is the adverse weather for all jobs that had adverse weather in that period that we specified, which, like I was saying, was a very large period from 2017 to 2019. All right, so all of these jobs, being a test database, all these jobs have carried on for a long time. They're sort of, still in an open status, still on site.
A perpetual state of completion.
That's right, so they'll continue raining every month for eternity.
Yes. So the beauty of these numbers, of course, there's no grounds for dispute with the client. The numbers are real. They come from an independent website. They're not just out of the supervisor's diary. So it does help reduce the incidence of liquidated damages claims.
Yeah, if there is a dispute too, all these numbers do match the Bureau 100%. So you can actually point the client in the direction of the Bureau and so you can look up the weather for yourself if you're disputing what we're saying, and all the data will match.
Very good.
That concludes the bureau integrations there. Is there any questions on how that works?
No, I think that's straightforward, thank you. And is there anything else you wanted to show us in connection with that this afternoon?
I think that's all I've got for now.
Very good. Thank you, Tim. And we'll look forward to seeing more use of that feature, which is a great help to our builders.
Absolutely.
Have a good weekend. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.